And welcome back to Times Square today. I'm your host, Bob Guiney. And with me, our special guest, Barbara Hales. Barbara, thank you for being here.
Well, it's a real pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
I find you so fascinating. We've talked before. The education, we'll get to that, obviously, but you're a podcaster, a marketing consultant, a best-selling author, a doctor. I just find it so fascinating that how your career started to where you are today. Tell me how you got here.
When I started out, I went to medical school and then I did all of my training. When my training was done, I felt, instead of joining the hospital as a hospitalist, I wanted to have my own private practice so that I could really get some sense of my patients on a personal level.
Right.
So I found a space I thought was just perfect. Originally it was a candy store, and my only regret about that was I did not leave their inventory. So I bought all the equipment that would be necessary and hired, people to work in the office, got everything together. I was now ready to open the doors, launching my practice.
Yeah.
Once that happened, it took me 2 minutes to realize I have no patience.
Oh my gosh.
If I joined an existing practice or if I had partners, then there would be patients already there.
Right.
But since it was my office and I was just opening up to what I thought was like really beautiful and homey place with no patients, it would only be a matter of 3 weeks or so when the bills started rolling in where I'd have to wind up closing the door. So right from the beginning, I knew that I had to market myself, to promote myself, to let people know that I was there. In the end, I went from having no patients to having 10,000 active patients in the database.
Isn't that something?
So
and that was
exciting.
all based on your own personal experiences. You didn't have a mentor to look to say, here's how you market as a physician, right? You kind of came up with these concepts on your own.
That's right. In those days, doctors' marketing was very unusual.
Yeah.
And there were no mentors in those days to show doctors what to do or how to market themselves. So it was a system that I wound up developing and coming out with myself.
Why was that, you think? Why didn't people think that doctors should market? It was almost like they thought it would cheapen their brand, or they thought it might undermine their brand as a doctor. Why wouldn't doctors market back then?
Well, years ago, it really was frowned upon.
Yeah.
Like you said, like selling snake oil.
Right.
And not being very professional. And so I think that aura really just carried on.
Yeah. It's sort of like how people say a sign of no business is a business with no sign, right? And I would think from a doctor perspective, people forget, hey, if you're just opening your practice, you still have to let people know you're in business.
Exactly. Yeah. When I would ask doctors, do they market themselves? They would say, well, they're on the rosters for insurance companies that send patients their way. They don't realize that overnight the insurance company could drop them, and then where would they be?
Right.
To simplify it, marketing is simply telling people what it is that you do, the services that you provide, and where you're located. Can you imagine telling people, well, this is what I do, but I'm keeping my office a secret.
Right.
Or this is where my office is located, but guess what I do?
Yeah.
So when you say it that way, it's ludicrous, isn't it? Therefore, marketing is essential.
In every profession.
In every profession.
So you went from having a huge roster of clients, of active clients, and at one point you decided, I'm no longer going to actively practice medicine. I'm going to actively present marketing. How did that happen?
Well, that's absolutely true. I developed and founded a company called The Marketing Strategist, and felt that if I could succeed in various marketing techniques for myself, I knew my system would work for other doctors.
Right.
What most people don't realize is that nowadays, doctors' offices do go bankrupt and out of business. I did not want to find that private practice no longer existed, and that it left another option for doctor visits out for patients who would no longer be able to see doctors on a private level. I felt it was my mission to help doctors in private practice to succeed and to stay in touch with their patients.
No, that's great. Now, what's a piece of advice you would give someone who's just opening up a private practice and they come out and they're like, okay, I'm going to get the best sign. I've got a busy street corner where everyone can see me, a high traffic area. What's a piece of advice you would give them that might surprise them?
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things that I really work on with people is streams of passive income. Having revenue come in on a passive level enables you to go about seeing your patients without worrying where your next dollar is coming from.
Sure.
But I would like to give 2 or 3 pieces of advice today that people could implement right now. The first one is to register for Google Alerts. You register your name and keywords that your patients would be looking up when they're looking for you or your services. And immediately, if you've been registered, Google will tell you instantly someone is looking, and they will tell you exactly where your name pops up, whether it's social media, a press release, a journal article, no matter what, which is really a good thing because them ranking you and reviewing you, you want to know what they say.
Sure,
If it's great, wonderful. But if it's not great, you want to be able to nip it in the bud and find out what the problem is so that you can correct it.
Right.
Having a negative review is also like a gift because they are telling you what it is that you need to improve. You should not ignore that or sweep it under the carpet or say, oh, that's them.
Or get defensive, right?
Or get defensive and say, it's just that the personalities didn't jive.
Right.
If they're telling you something needs to change, then you know what? Change it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's as simple as, the office staff really did not treat me the way I thought I should be, or that the wait time was too long. A lot of the reviews don't even really have anything to do with the doctor per se, except for the fact that the doctor, as captain of the ship, can monitor how that ship is moving.
And it's easily correctable in a lot of situations.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. I think, it's interesting. I was going to ask you, like when people do like a Yelp review of a restaurant or something of that nature, it's not that different than someone doing a review of a visit a physician office. They walk in, the person who's at the desk isn't engaging or isn't kind to them or whatever it might be. That can set the tone for the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great.
The second piece of advice I have is to get a name domain of your name.
Right.
Now, your office may have a different name, like Atlantic Wellness, for instance, and you're not using your name per se, but it's crucial for you to have the domain name, especially nowadays when so many people have the same name. When you Google yourself, you find you thought your name was so unusual and you find that there are 17 others with the same name, some of them in the same location.
Sure.
If you own that domain, you're not getting it to use it.
Yeah.
You're getting it to prevent somebody else from using it.
Good advice.
Because if someone else uses your name likeness, it might be representing something that would embarrass you or something that you would not want to have known, like a porno site, for instance.
Right, yeah, you don't want that associated with your physician's office.
When a patient comes in, didn't I see you on a porno site?
That's a good call, though. You want to almost, by collecting these different sites that may somehow be affiliated with your name, you're essentially protecting your brand.
That's right. You're protecting your brand by not allowing anybody else to use it.
Right.
You don't have to use it, but you don't want anybody else to use it.
Sure, and it's a small fee. It's not a lot of money that would be.
No, $8 to $10.
Yeah.
It's like, you shouldn't go to get it. You should run to get it.
Right. Do it now.
This should be on your to-do list for today.
Today.
Because otherwise, you know what? Someone else is going to get it, and you'll be out of luck. The third piece is when you are looking at your website, and goodness, I hope you have a website, because today's day and age, if you have no website, you know what? You don't exist.
That's like we were saying earlier. A sign of no business is a business with no sign.
That's right. Even if your Aunt Tilly recommends you, or, 3 friends recommended you, people don't call to make appointments.
Yeah.
The first thing they do is they go online.
Yep.
Statistics show 8 out of 10 people will look you up before ever making that appointment. Besides the ranking sites, they're looking at your website.
They're Googling your name. Like
they're
you said.
Googling your name
Yeah.
and they're looking at your website. And if you have no website,
No business.
no business. But what I wanted to say about your website, because we're going to assume that you do have a website, is that on the About page,
Yeah.
it should not be only you. Even if you're a solo practitioner, it should not be only about you.
Right.
Take a picture of everyone that works in that office, their name, and what their function is in the office.
Yeah.
So that if someone new comes to the office, they've seen the website, they say, oh, there's that guy Ryan, he's the biller, I'll be seeing him later.
Right.
Oh, there's Alice, she's the front desk person and she's going to help me with my insurance. So they have some sense of comfort and familiarity, even though they've never been to the office before.
You mentioned everyone else should have a website. I know you have one as well. If someone wants to get a hold of you, if someone wants to utilize your services, how do they do that?
Well, first, what I'd like to point out is that the Medical Strategist, which is the company that I founded, has a mission to help physicians in 1 to 3 person practices in order to grow their practice, increase their revenue, and balance their work-life existence. You know, because all work and
No play.
no play.
That's no fun.
Not only is no fun, it makes for a physician that's like really burnt out,
Yeah.
that either can no longer work or is, you know, not going to be very helpful.
Yeah.
You can reach me at themedicalstrategist.com, or you can email me at info@themedicalstrategist, or you could give me a call. Let's chat.
Awesome. Barbara, thank you so much for joining us on Times Square today. I know a lot of people are going to benefit from the information that you've shared with us, so thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're
It was
very
great being
welcome.
here.